Less Than Jake's new record, GNV, FLA. After leaving Warner Brothers, we had talked about what we want to do post-major label, and at certain points in times when you're talking amongst the band, you start to default to what you know already, and which was, at the moment, we should go maybe approach Fat Mike about being on Fat Records, or maybe Epitaph, or maybe another independent label, and that would have been the easier route to go on. But after talking with the guys and sort of coming up with what we should do and versus what we could do, we ultimately decided to go with doing it ourselves, which means not only are we in charge of marketing the record, but paying for everything that has to do with the record and has to do with the marketing, as well as finding a distribution company that gets the CD and vinyl and digital songs into the world where you people could buy it. And that's a heavy undertaking when you consider that 9-10 months out of the year we're on tour, and at a certain point, you have to sort of jump off the edge and you have to go into the abyss, things that you don't know about. And after swirling it around my head and where the music industry is going to go versus where it's at right this second, I think that Less Than Jake doing our own label was the best thing to do for not only us, Less Than Jake as people, but Less Than Jake as a band. I think that in the process of, after we recorded GNVFLA, you start really thinking about where do you want to advertise the record, and how do you want to advertise it, and what medium do you want to advertise it. There's a lot of things to talk about, and I think that as a band that's been around for 16 years, I think it's a healthy and an important thing for our band to be in charge of how the outside of the 5 people in Less Than Jake finally view our band. Because before, even though I never thought that we ever had too many people speaking for us, I thought that at certain times in our band's career over 16 years we've been sort of misrepresented a little bit. Whether it be by Warner Brothers, or whether it be by Asian Man or Dill. I think that they did what they could, but ultimately the only people that can actually speak correctly and honestly about the band is the band itself. So I think that finally, after this much time of being in Less Than Jake, that it's really come down to, we're speaking honestly about who our band is, we're showing the people who our band is, and we're basically have 100% ownership of the future of who our band is. So right now with Sleep It Off Records and Less Than Jake, we're in charge of 360 degrees of who we are and who we'll become. It's funny because you contrast that to what the norm is right now in the music business. And instead of bands being in charge of 360 degrees of their career and of their life, the norm now with majors and a lot of indies is 360-degree deals, where bands get signed, give up, 25 to 35% of their publishing, 25 to 35% of their merchandise rights. And that's in perpetuity too, where it's forever, meaning. And that's pretty heavy. So I think it's a pretty liberating thing, man, where the norm in music business, we're doing the exact opposite of what the norm is right now. And that's not really like blowing our own mind, and that's not saying we're, you know, discovering new places and things like that. There's been bands that have been doing this forever. But for us, it's a new place, and it's a great place.